Okay, so today, guys, we have with us the famous photographer, content creator, and now author, Arial Robinson. She became an author recently through this whole coronavirus pandemic ordeal, and I think that's amazing. So I wanted to reach out to interview her about a couple of things. So we're just gonna jump right into it. Is that cool with you?
That's perfect.
Cool. So, Ariel is the author of the famous and dope book, The Modern Day Black Alphabet. So now, my first question to you is, can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing?
Yes, so I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm from the city, so we have the city and the kind of suburban area. I kind of lived in both of those. I have two sisters and one brother. My sister's 16, my older sister is 21, and my brother's 13. And I mean, there's really not much to it. I lived a pretty normal life. I went to an art school from 4th grade to 7th grade, so that kind of helped me really hone in on my creative side. But then I ended up leaving that art school and then going to a regular school. So it wasn't until I had gotten back to, it was junior year, I started getting more into creative things. But from 8th grade to 10th grade, I was just playing sports, and so I feel like that has helped me to become very well-rounded. But overall, I've seen a lot of things because Charlotte is a melting pot. So many different people come and move to Charlotte for different opportunities. It's I've seen and been around a lot of different people.
Okay, just a quick question, because you said you play sports. What sport did you play?
So in 8th grade, I ran track and I did cheerleading. And then I played basketball and soccer for a little bit.
Okay, and of those, which were your favorite?
I think soccer is definitely my favorite.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to get into photography, right? So
Yeah.
tell the audience, how did you get into photography?
So I still don't really consider myself a photographer, but I first started taking I first started doing little home photo shoots with my phone right at the top of 2018. So I was at home on winter break from school and nobody was at home. And I was like, I want to post some Instagram pictures. So I was like, well, shoot, I'm going to just set my phone up, put my cover right here. We're going to take some pictures. And before then, I was having my sister and brother take my pictures because I wanted to be cute. I wanted to get my Instagram likes. If you're on social media, you want to feel loved. You want likes and comments. Right. But it really wasn't until 2018 where I started kind of structuring the post and putting out things that were more creative. And then last year in September, I got a camera and I was doing a little bit of freelance photography, but I didn't really like that at all. I don't really like freelance. So I stopped doing freelance, and since I've been in quarantine, I've really been able to create my own projects. So that's what I got my camera for in the beginning, is to do my own projects. And then people were like, oh, take my pictures. I did it, didn't really like it. And so, now that I have ample amount of time to really create the things I want to create, that's what I've been doing.
Okay, and what kind of camera do you have?
I have the Canon EOS 4000D.
Oh, okay.
So it's a great starter camera. I'm actually about to get another camera, so.
Nice. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So why is photography special to you?
Photography is special because pictures can tell a lot of different stories, and it's really something that it's timeless. There are tons of photos that we see in Black history, and it's important that we have those pictures so that people can see and they can empathize and they can really feel what was going on in that moment in time. So I think photos are just very important because they don't say anything to you, but you feel something. And I think that's important, that when you're creating art or when you're doing something that is impactful and that people feel something from it.
Yeah, I feel that. So why does representation matter to you?
Representation matters to me because I didn't see it prevalently when I was growing up. So it's important that I, in my work, show Black women and Black experiences. It's important because when you're growing up, you need to see people who look like you. Because if you don't, then, you're going to start to think different ways. You're not going to love yourself or value yourself. So it goes back to comfort. When people know that they have a home and they see their home, they know that there's comfort, even if it's not a physical place. And that's what representation does, for people when they watch TV, when they listen to music, when they can connect with somebody. they know that they're not alone in whatever they're going through.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who or what inspires you to create the art that you create?
There's a lot of people. So I would say my mom definitely inspires me just to work hard and do what, makes me happy. But then there's also different artists like Tyler, the Creator, Tyler Mitchell, who's a photographer, Renelle Manjaro, I don't know how to say her last name, but like a lot of different Black photographers who are creating and telling Black stories. They inspire me to do the same as well, because there's never going to be too much. There's no such thing as oversaturation. If you're doing what you truly love and you're doing it in your own style, then that's inspiring in itself. So those are a few people that inspire me.
Yeah. Okay. What is the end goal for your Black Alphabet book? Like, what is something that you want to happen that'll make you say creating this book was all worth it?
I would definitely like to see it in school systems and in the hands of underserved children. So I love to partner with a nonprofit or a charity to, give the books away to families who may not have much. They don't have much. So to have this book in their home and their children grow up and know that even if you don't have a lot of physical things, you're still very important and you still can do what you want to do. And you still do have opportunities. I think that would be very humbling. That would make me very happy to know that there are children out there who have my book and they know that the future is bright for them.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you said that, because I feel like a lot of times when people create something and they have like a dope concept, they want to monetize it and become like a billionaire, right? But you didn't really go that route. You were saying that you would rather basically give back to your community and inspire over, living in a mansion, having all these cars and so on and so forth. So
don't get me wrong though. Thank you. Don't get me wrong. I definitely want to see myself win and I want to make money, because as an artist, we, especially Black artists, a lot of times people would tell us like we need to create art and we devalue ourselves. I definitely want to see myself win, but in that I want other people to be brought up with me. I don't want to be the only person on this high pedestal. You know what I'm saying? So like I want people to go buy my book and support me, but I also want to use some of that money to support somebody else who may not be able to support themselves.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Thank you.
What was the biggest obstacle while making the book / creating those shots?
I think the biggest obstacle was just figuring out what the letter was gonna be. Some days it was super easy. I'm like, I know exactly what I want to do. And then other days I kind of had maybe 4 or 5 different, watery concepts. I don't have a clear vision. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, dang, well, I got all these different little small concepts, but what am I gonna actually bring to life and execute? So once I had the letter and I knew what I was doing, it was just a matter of taking the photo, editing it to tell that particular story that I wanted to tell.
Yeah, that makes sense. So which letter was the hardest to shoot?
I'm trying to think. Hardest letter. B, C, D, E, F. I'm trying to go through like the letters you have.
Because as I was going through them, I was wondering if R would have been the hardest one, because both of those women are you, right?
No, it's my sister.
It's your sister. Oh, okay, cool.
So that one was actually one of the easier ones to shoot, because that was something that was naturally happening. So they were just like, my sister was like, can you oil my scalp? And my other sister was like, well, can you oil mine? And they was like, we'll do some face masks. And I was like, oh snap, can I just take y'all picture real quick? And so they were literally in the action. That wasn't something that was planned. And I was like, okay, I want to take these pictures. I'm gonna use this as my art. My hardest one, I think would have to be, I'm really trying to think about this, because a lot of them weren't really hard to edit. It was really just about getting the letter. I think you was kind of hard. It was one of the harder ones. I was one of the harder ones as well. Illustrious, because I had to do a lot of changes with it, but overall, none of them were, I would say, really hard, because I was doing skills that I know and that come easy to me.
Yeah, okay. And then, which is your favorite shot and why?
I would say, so I have P is for Pride. Those 2 shots are my favorite, because, I don't know, to me, they're just so beautiful. They're clean, they're straight to the point. They're very symbolic. You can get many messages from them. So I would say P that's my favorite one.
Okay. And then I see that for the letter C, you had C as for church, or getting ready for church, right?
That was for G.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So for G, you had getting ready for church. So I just wanted to ask you, why did you choose like the church specifically? Because you could have said getting ready for school, getting ready for, I don't know, prom, like many other things, but you chose church. So I was wondering, why did you choose that one?
Because I know for me, coming from a Black family, and a lot of my friends who are Black, church is very important. And so like in Charlotte, I don't know if you've ever heard of the House of Prayer, but this is like, they have so many locations, and their largest locations are in North Carolina and in Charlotte. And so this street called Beatty's Ford Road that my grandmother lives on, you know, everybody's been on this road. When I was born, I lived on this road. So the House of Prayer is on this road, and church is very important in my Black family. A lot of Black families are Christian, and getting ready for church, there's a culture in that where, you know, the women wear the big hats, and, you know, you have to put on your stockings and wear your dress. And it's like a whole event, especially because I put it out on Easter, which happened to align so perfectly. And Easter is a big thing in the Black community. So I thought it was important to highlight that, because the Black church in itself is a whole culture. And that's something that I wanted to merely tap into. And so I thought, what better way to do it than G?
Yeah. And then my final question for you would be, what is something that you want the audience to know about your book and about yourself that you haven't already stated?
I would say that it's not just my story. It's everybody's story to be told and to be retold. So I don't want them to see those photos and think that it stops there. This is only just the beginning of stories that should be continued to be told. And so that I hope that for generations, people look back at these pictures and they relate it back to their lives and their experiences, and they keep them going, because it's important that the Black story doesn't get lost. There's so many things that are going on in the world, and it's important that we maintain our voice. And I hope that my book creates conversation and keeps us alive.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt that you are going to become even more successful in your journey. And I know for a fact that your book will be in schools and in homes, not only across the United States, but across the world as well. And
Thank you.
And I'm going to follow you along the way. I'm going to enjoy the ride with you. And I really appreciate you for taking the time to chat with me today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Take it easy.
You too. Bye.
Bye.